Under the trade lens, you can build ports and railways to increase your transportation throughput. So since that was a really big item, just to give you an example of how we're going to job around in these different markets, it's very expensive in my country, transportation in general. So I definitely want to build more ports and rails. So I could definitely like add ports to Maine, Carolina. It looks like I'm already building there. And then you can tab over to the construction queue, and then we can see that they got added to the construction queue at the bottom. Import trades, instead of going back to the market and the suggested goods with considerable demand, that doesn't really work at this point. I would painstakingly left click, mouse 4 out of these screens. So you see how fast you could do it. Change the productivity to high. Now, if we were to import clipper ships, it looks like we're going to make a lot of money. Let me give you another warning here. That's not the whole story. You're not going to get this 18K. The trade is going to be modified by how many convoys you have. And even though when I click on this, some convoys will be gone, you will run out of convoys despite the fact that it tells you that there are convoys here. The only way that I've found to balance trade is to literally click on this item and then see how it hits my bottom line or my money. So I click on this, we're at 14.4, and that gave me 0.1K. It did not give me a bunch of money because of how the convoys work, because of how world trade works. But let me tell you something, it will hit your bottom line immediately. And then it will be modified and adjusted as the different nations are trading clipper ships. So you have to keep on checking in on this to see if the trade routes actually still make sense. So now that I clicked on clipper ships, it's saying that these trade routes are unproductive. So I could click off these. The problem is I need luxury clothes. So I'm willing to take a trade deficit here to quell the masses in terms of radicalism. You can see clothes are quite expensive, but luxury clothes will not be under staple goods. It will be under luxury goods. And as you can see here, they are quite expensive at 24% the base market price. So if I hover over this screen, you can see a little graph here. The red line is going to be the market price. That will show us that we are basically 28% above what the median market price is. So you want to be below the market price to keep people happy, to keep goods cheap, and to keep people progressing through the social strata. So it's very important. That's the most important thing to think about. And again, I'll reiterate this. If I need a good, so if I go over to my population screen and let's see what goods are expensive. If I need a good immediately, so it's luxury furniture, I will import said thing. I won't export it because that'll make the thing more expensive, right? I will import it. Should be cheaper if you look at this screen. Now, if things are incredibly abundant in your rural market, it would serve to reason that you could export them. So we have a lot of ammunition in my market. And if we go ahead and make a trade route with the French market, so we're exporting that ammunition, we went from 13K to 20.4. That could have been because I ran out of convoys, or it could have been that I'm selling that said good ammunition for a higher price mainland US. So it's not always one-to-one what you click on here. What I found though is I like to import first. As a last resort, I like to export just to play around. So if let's say I exchange fertilizer on the Russian market, this is going to be really clunky. And then that reduced the amount of money that I get. What I want to do to reverse that is I literally have to go under market, trade routes, scroll down to whatever I just traded, find the trade route and cancel it. So I have to tab down here, say it was fabric, and cancel it. That is super clunky UI, and that is kind of the crux of this game, is that it's really hard to kind of navigate the UI at times.